Well, the introduction of Marty King brought out a huge round of applause.
If he wins, he would certainly be my candidate for most outstanding wrestler. A lot of schools looking at Marty King.
King is on the left. Still on the left there. Cummings on the right. Neither wrestler has lost this year. 68 wins between them.
And Cummings is 102-15, so he's no slouch. There he's got the leg. Going to try to keep him in. King does, yeah. Still pick up two. Takedown. Takedown and a nosebleed. And King was...
All right, so repairs the cotton in the nostril of Marty King, who's on top now and leading by a score of 2-0.
King resumes where he left off. Tried to kick through kind of a Granby roll. Didn't work. King in control. Looks like, oh, he gives up a point. A little sloppy, maybe. But King is very, very confident as we go down to 1 minute left in this period. One of the things the wrestlers don't want to do is make that one stupid mistake. It's bad enough when you're going up against such good competition, but I don't want to do something where I'm going to get caught and put on my back. But you got to be aggressive, and that's one thing I would note that most wrestlers, as we get a stalemate call, most wrestlers who are successful at this level, Dave, are generally the ones that are the most aggressive. Now, that doesn't always happen, but generally that's what happens. 37
seconds remaining here in period number 1. Again, it is the blood.
The nosebleed does not count as an injury time. If it were a strain or something, or a sprained wrist, then you have a certain amount of time to come back, 2 minutes. But in this, there isn't. You could have as many bloody noses as you wanted to.
Darrin Cummings with his back to you. He is in the blue. Marty King wearing the purple of Section 5.
Marty King, one of those people who has been in this since he was in junior high school, Dave, and that, can you imagine being an 8th grader and coming in and wrestling 12th graders and doing all that well? And Marty King certainly did in the past. I believe that when he was in 8th grade, he took a second in the state.
We're wrestling at 126 pounds now, and that's the end of period number 1. A period stopped twice on account of nosebleed suffered by Marty King, and again he's showing the claret flowing from the nostril.
You notice he's got good height too, a little bit taller than his opponent, Darrin Cummings. Sometimes you'll see that as a advantage, and sometimes it isn't. King moves quickly from the bottom, doesn't get out right away, but he makes a good, substantial, positive first move. And he is countered very, very well by his opponent, Darrin Cummings, who just picked him up, took the leg out, and brought him down to the mat. So only a 2-1 lead for King. This may be one of those matches where the man who is the overwhelming favorite does not actually overwhelm his opponent. They can't, I think he's got blood coming from the other nostril, but you don't want to put cotton up both. It's going to create all sorts of breathing problems.
Marty King is wrestling in the state championships for the 5th year in a row. As an 8th grader, he was 2nd in 91 pounds. As a 9th grader, he was 3rd in 91 pounds. Then as a 10th grader, he was 4th at 112 pounds. Last year, he became a champion at 119 pounds, and here he is now at 126.
And he is trying to get away from Darrin Cummings, but Cummings doing a good job taking him out of bounds. 1:13 left in the second period, and King only up by 1 point. 2-1. So
now he's got to tie his shoe.
Give Darrin Cummings, this could be one of the longest matches of the night. Give Darrin Cummings credit. He's doing a superb job, but he's been undefeated this year. He's got over 100 wins. He's got 102. So, as we say, when you get up to this level, you got no patsy. Referee, apparently, the whistle didn't blow correctly, so we're going to get a stop again.
This match being conducted at a staccato pace.
Cobwebs could form on the cameraman if they don't. But, oh, nice move. Head to half, a little risky, and King is going to shrug it off and maybe come out.
Does he reverse it?
Yes, he does now. thought he might go for the cradle, but King picks up 2 on the reversal. They're both standing, Cummings and King.
A little more breathing room now for King.
King gained control. They're going to go out of bounds. But Cummings being now he's got it up both nostrils, so now he's going to be breathing through his mouth.
Well, Darrin Cummings has one nostril plugged up. Here's a good look at Cummings, and right behind him is Marty King.
It's like some sort of a costume. All right, now King on top, in control, but he's going to lose it momentarily. 1 point, yes, Cummings right back in it, 4-2.
We're in the second period, under half a minute remaining. Marty King leads Darrin Cummings 4-2 at 120.
See the clock winding down, 15. Cummings trying a little bit of muscle. Looking at the clock, that can be disastrous sometimes. Both men look pretty good on their feet.
The end of the second now, and it's a 4-2 lead for this man, Marty King of Canandaigua, and he'll be on top.
It's funny when we were talking about, people would say, my gracious, this has got to be, with all those wins and stuff, he ought to just go out and pin everybody, but it doesn't happen that way. A lot of those wins, I'm sure, have been 1- and 2-point wins. Though he certainly has gotten his way into this final rather easily. He's a little bit of trouble. He got a little bit too high. He's going to lose points.
In danger of being taken down.
He's going to give up. He started on top. He started in control. Oh, good move by King. Because he was on top. And it looked like he might be reversed.
Marty King will pin Willie Parra in a minute 42. Lee Salters in a minute 53. And then 22-4 over Peter Sartori.
Definitely a different match against Cummings. As Darrin Cummings is down by only 2 points, they're going to call it stalemate.
Darrin Cummings with a pin in 3:59 over Jim Washington, a 25-3 decision over Keith Pappas, and a 10-2 win over Annabelle Neves.
So neither one really pressed to get here. That's Cummings on the bottom. Nice shot there. A good picture of Cummings. And the man who came in on his back, the man we've been talking about, King. So Marty King on top, 115, and he will be a state champ for a second time. But Cummings has got a lot to say about it. Hand control. He's got a hand lock. You saw Cummings call that. Cummings gestured that he had his hands locked. He's going to be up. It'll be tied. One for an escape, one for a hand lock. That's 4-4.
That came about awfully quick.
Well, he sat out, and he couldn't get away, and he looked down, and he saw that King had his... They're going to start the injury clock now for this nose. They're starting it for King.
Not bleeding, the official is saying. It is not bleeding. That's why they're starting an injury clock.
See him pointing at the hands right there? Said, there you go. That's an illegal hold. And now watch him get an escape. That gave him 2 points. One for the illegal body lock, one for the escape. And now they started the injury clock because they said, as you said, David, it's not bleeding. So it doesn't count as a bloody nose. He's going to have to take his injury time.
And as Marty King got some liquid refreshment, spit it out, and he did not spit out any blood. So apparently the bleeding has stopped. We're tied at 4 now. 50 seconds to go, period number 3.
Good match. Oh, nice ankle pick.
King fought it off.
Cummings went right for that ankle. Both men good on their feet. This should be exciting. 38 seconds, 37.
You don't want to see a stalling point awarded here.
No, I don't think you will. Neither man seems to be in a position to stall, although King got the leg. They're trading positions. No warnings yet.
23 seconds left.
King sorely pressed. There he goes. Boy, he got in on that. No points
15
awarded.
seconds.
Yes.
There it is. Cummings, look back at the clock. It's under 10 seconds now. They're both looking at the clock. It's over.
That's going to give Marty King his second state championship, but I'll tell you what, Darrin Cummings from Smithtown really battled him all the way.
Standing ovation for Marty King as well as Darrin Cummings.
I was just going to say, I think that's a standing ovation for both men. Darrin Cummings, one heck of a wrestling match. But give Marty